What's up, everybody? Monday morning. Hope you're doing amazing. Welcome to today's edition of the Daily Market Commentary. I'm your host, Chuck Fulkerson. I hope everybody had a great weekend. A happy Father's Day. Got to spend some time with the people that you love. I know that I had an amazing weekend. I want to kick off today with just a real quick announcement about our upcoming Trader Summit on Thursday, June 25th. So just a few days from now, we've got our Trader Summit. We're going to talk about options. We're going to talk about futures. We're going to talk about equities. We're going to talk about taxation. We're going to talk about understanding margins and volatility. It's going to be a really great day. It is a no pitch event, and I mean that. I really hate it when I go to those events and it winds up being a sales pitch all day. That is not the case. So just go to tradersarmy.com/trader summit, and we would love to have you join us. We have about 1,000 seats reserved. Set up for reserve. We've got, I think, 700 or so reservations, so we've got a couple of hundred seats left. So if you want to go, please go register today, and then invite some others, because it'd be great to kind of spread the love and let others know what we're doing. But let's go ahead and dive into today's daily market commentary. So today, looking at the S&P, we're up about 16 points, and what you're going to find is that we have a couple of lines on here from last night's live trade room. And when I look at what we have on this ES, we came all the way down into our demand area last night and then rallied up out of that zone. This was a confirmation area of demand. We gapped down into it and then traded up out of it. I know a couple of people that were in the live trade room had grabbed it and were trading it to the upside. Now, there was a gap fill in here, and we had a gap fill in all of our equity markets, but we didn't really want to try to take the short on the gap fill. Felt like that was really pushing our luck a bit, and we did have a little tiny wick over wick area here in the S&P that was worth taking a short, and it did come up there at about 10:30. We got about a 2-to-1, maybe even a 3-to-1 move away from that level. So you got to do a little bit more active management of that one, but you did get a 2-to-1, 3-to-1 move away. And now we had this hourly level above us. So this hourly level up above us, I think, is a slightly better zone. And there's these overlapping wicks here, and this is right near the pivot. I think this is a pretty good area for a potential reversal. So keep an eye on this one for today. The one I like even better than that is the Russell level that is a very similar shape. So looking here at the Russell, we have a wick over wick up at this region here, and then we've got this level right here at the top. Now, this was found on a 15-minute. So let me slide to the 15-minute. And on the 15-minute, we've got a nice unbalanced wick over wick right here near a pivot. So this is an unbalanced wick over wick right there near a pivot high, and price could make it all the way up into here, where we may see a bit of a reversal. Last night, we did look at some of these levels in here for a reversal. I was not in love with it, only because we'd retested it a couple of times. And if you notice, the first time we came up into there, we kind of a little bit, we have hit there a second time and come down a little bit of a ways. But I still think this 1431 by 1436 could be a pretty decent little reversal spot. Looking over at the NASDAQ, in our NASDAQ position, we did not identify the same areas in the NASDAQ because the NASDAQ is our strongest market. I didn't really have any clean shorts. So now I've got a potential breakout to the upside above this 10,112 area if we get the basing. And then I've got clean demand way below us. So the only way that I can take this one short is if I get quality basing, allowing for some sort of a breakdown. Next, crude oil. So looking at our crude oil levels, if I'm being completely transparent here, there's not a whole lot worth looking at. And the reason that I say that is because there's just no quality areas of demand below us that make me want to get long, and no quality areas of supply above us that make me want to get short. Now, this is the August contract. We've been analyzing the September, so let me slide over to the September contract. What I really am paying most attention to is a potential for a breakout above this 4089 area if we get basing inside this region. But other than that, I wouldn't try to force an oil trade today. Allow price to set up, and that's what we've seen. Gold, we did rally up hard in gold with a strong gap up in our gold markets. We rallied up, came all the way up to the 1775 area, where I was hoping for a bit of basing before for a potential breakout, because that goes all the way back. I got to go back and show more time. All the way back to this high here. So I think this is still a good breakout point, but remember, this doesn't count as a breakout because we didn't get the basing in front of the level necessary for the breakout. So this is just a pop above. Now, if you wanted to look at this for a potential long, I think that you've got a decent little level right here if we come back down into this region. We've come back down to the gap fill area and gotten a little bounce off of there, but I think that we could still fall a little further. So if you want to take advantage of that further fall, you could, I guess, look for some basing in here, and then you've got a little target right there. It's a very small day trade opportunity. Moving over to bonds and currency markets, in the ZN, we didn't see a whole lot last night, and there's not a whole lot to really talk about this morning. Now, nothing happened overnight. I mean, our overnights went from here to here, so really nothing happened. Look for a breakout above this region here. That demand comes into play down here at this bottom area. In the Aussie, not a whole lot to lean on in the Aussie as well. We do have we had this gap fill area, which, you know, I was not surprised, blew right through the gap fill area, continued to trade up into this region here, and we've gotten a little bit of a pullback, but not enough for me to feel bad about not having a supply zone set up. So we still have some demand down below us. I just don't have anything clean for me to lean on, and that's really what I need to do. Is I need to find high probability turning points, and so far I don't really have anything that's super high probability. Bit below us, you know, pursuant to our Globex areas, we've got some things to think about down here, but they are still Globex areas, right? Which definitely gives me a bit of a reason to pause. I will say that on the 15-minute, there's a little wick over wick here, just below that pivot, that if you really want to give something a shot, might be worth leaning into. Next, on the euro. So the euro, I did have a little reversal trade set up, and that one blew right through. So we had a little tiny level right here on the 15-minute euro, but the reason that, there's no reason to get into it because, remember, it's a 15-minute level since it's in purple, but we were basing right in front of the level. So that takes that level and makes it an unusable trade. Remember that anytime we have basing in front of the level, it makes that level an unusable level. But I will say that area itself turned into a bit of a flip zone because that area of supply became a new area of demand and price rallied up off of there in the overnight. And that's really just a function of how many computerized orders are in that zone, right? It's just this is where those computerized orders live. So as far as I go now, when I'm looking for our areas of supply or demand, I start at current price. And for supply, I've got to look up and to the left to the origin of a strong move down. Well, as I look up and to the left to my moves down, we've got this most recent one here, but that's, really, this is my controlling pivot. Well, this controlling pivot is a retest of this area here to the left. Now, this area here to the left, I didn't have a short setup on because I didn't love it based on that green candle there in the middle, making it a retest of this area here. So I've really got to come to this wick over wick area right up here as my first area of supply that makes some sense, right? And then when I do demand, and that's a 15-minute chart, so it's got to be purple. And then when I do the demand area, I do the exact same thing. I start at current price, and then I look down and to the left to the origin of a rally. But then I've got to look at the quality of that rally area, right? So as I look down and to the left, I've got this little tiny area here, which we're kind of bouncing off of at the moment. So this is actually not a bad little reversal spot. So if you feel like going long right in here, it would be a candle-to-candle kind of trade. Wait till we get higher than this first candle's high because it's not a great level, but it's actually not terrible. This one here, this is a demand area, but it's an area where there's a lot of trading that's gone on. This is that reversal spot that we talked about, where we've bounced off of. This is a little bit of a line of control. So I'm actually still going to be okay reusing this one. And the reason I'm going to be all right with it is because of the time of day that it was created. and the fact that it was a line of control. And so I'm going to put this one up as a potential for a long on the 15-minute. So that would be the area that I would look at. Now, this one down here, though, because it has been traded in a few times, I think it makes more sense for us to think of this as a confirmation entry. All right. Canadian dollar. In the Canadian dollar, we're sitting above a potential breakdown at this level right here. I know last night we had one of our members who was looking at the actual currency pair, the U.S. CAD. And remember, if you're looking at the currency pair, it would be a breakout to the upside, whereas in the currency futures markets, a breakout to the downside below this region in here. Other than that, not a whole lot to lean on. And then when we move over to the pound and the yen, in our Great British Pound position, we have a supply level up above us. Unfortunately, we just missed it as we came just to it, and it sold off just in front of that level. And so now this has to be a confirmation, because that's the rules. Dems is the rules. You get close to a level, you switch to confirmation. And then in the Japanese yen, we still have a breakout above this region here, provided that I get the quality basing very close to that blue line. So looking at all of these markets, couple of things, kind of worth leaning on and looking into. We did last night, for those of you that are trading nat gas, take a look at a breakout above this region here. So our breakout in nat gas, we talked about that long. If you're still in that long, I would take your stop and move it up underneath this 687 area. That way you've locked in a bit of profit. It doesn't look like we're getting a strong movement, and we're near our supply area, which was our opposing level anyway. So for those of you that took that trade last night, hopefully you made a little bit of green. Nothing wrong with starting the week in the green moving forward. So I hope you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. If you have any questions, as always, send us an email, support@tradersarmy.com. I look forward to seeing you in our Thursday live trade room. Hope you guys are having a great day. Talk to you soon. See ya.